The Fat Joes and the Busta Rhymes and the Pete Rocks, none of them could go to their own culture and have success the way they have within foundational Black American culture. Black people decide who sits at the cool table. And if we say you can't sit there, you're out of here.
Lord Jamar is like one of those friends that you got that's gonna tell you, he gonna tell you the straight dope. Like, he ain't gonna sugarcoat nothing. He ain't gonna play no games with you.
And in the warning video, the Transformer is in the bed with Biggie.
That's why Lord Jamar is the perfect person for this conversation.
I didn't feel like it was necessarily racist, that in itself, but it did put me on alert, on a racist alert for the little motherfucker.
About the foundational Black American roots of hip hop.
When I issued a challenge to KRS-One and Fat Joe and Busta Rhymes and Pete Rock and all of them, it was nothing personal against any of them. But I still had to call a spade and say, hey, y'all are saying this. Well, I need y'all to come to the table and explain what you're talking about.
So Lord Jamar actually interviewed the first Puerto Rican MCs, Ruby D and Whipper Whip. They agreed with him that foundational Black Americans created hip hop.
The stars of the show was the Black community. Puerto Ricans, we came along, we were the co-stars. I guess is what I want to say. If that's the proper way to say it, but we were the co-stars and we're still here.
So if we go by the timeline of 73 and y'all is the first Puerto Ricans, that means that hip hop was going for at least 3 years before any Puerto Ricans touched the hip hop soil.
Pretty much.
Correct.
I would say that.
Now, when the people on the opposite side of the argument got a hold of the fact that they agreed with him, they tried to dismiss it and seem like he asked a question in a misleading way. And this really gets to the root of the argument that no matter what evidence is presented, some people are just going to be willfully ignorant. And that is how we segue into the next topic of this video. What exactly is that, you say? Here you go.
The definition of a tether is someone from outside of America who comes to America, benefits from the struggle of foundational Black Americans, especially our civil rights struggle, and then does things to undermine foundational Black Americans. Those are who are called tethers.
This brings me back to Math Hoffa's argument, because a lot of people felt like him defending his interview with Fat Joe and not addressing the elephant in the room, that put him in the tether category, because it's clear as day what we're addressing, and he just diverted the conversation and tried to say that he and Fat Joe are not our enemies. But there's nuance to this conversation that just was completely ignored.
There are plenty of people who, like Marcus Garvey, he's not from America, but he came here to work tirelessly in favor of foundational Black Americans. Farrakhan, his parents are not foundational Black Americans. They're Caribbean, but his life has been dedicated to not working against the interest of foundational Black Americans, but for the interest. These people are not tethers. You don't call those type of people tethers. It's the ones that work against our interest. So when you have people that were telling you we created this hip hop shit, just like we created blues, jazz, country, rock and roll, this is nothing. This is what we do. When we're telling you we created this and you're now trying to take credit for something that you didn't do, that's trying to work against our interest. You're making yourself a tether by doing that.
Like someone walk into your house and be like, I'm gonna borrow your TV real quick. Just like, what? Bruh, like, you can come over, like, we cool, you can come over and kick in, but you can't just take my shit. Like, what do you mean?
The Fat Joes and the Busta Rhymes and the Pete Rocks, none of them could go to their own culture and have success the way they have within foundational Black American culture. Your whole lifestyle is because we said y'all is cool. We gave you the pass. Black people decide who sits at the cool table. And if we say you can't sit there, you're out of here. So it's not smart to try and disrespect us, because we put you where you're at. Joe cannot go to Puerto Rico and be as big as Bad Bunny. He cannot rely on the Puerto Rican community to keep his lifestyle going. None of them can. If Busta Bus, and that's my man, but if he abandoned hip hop and just did straight reggae, he'd be done, because they don't fuck with him like that. You know why? Because he wasn't born over there like that, and they'll look at him like a Yankee boy. So a lot of these dudes are trying to wave a flag for countries that don't even really fuck with them like that. So I don't even know why y'all trying to shit on us when we gave you everything you had.
Lord Jamar has been offering debates left and right at this point, Tariq Nasheed's been offering debates left and right at this point. The movie Microphone Check was made. They went all over New York trying to find Puerto Rican pioneers. They said they would show up. Nobody showed up. Who's gonna show up to debate Lord Jamar? Can somebody please show up to debate Lord Jamar? We would pay to see y'all debate Lord Jamar, especially if it's Lord Jamar and Tariq Nasheed. Somebody tap in, man. Somebody chime in. I want to hear y'all side of the argument. I want to know the real story from the Bronx, New York perspective. Like y'all keep complaining about, oh, you wouldn't understand this in New York thing. Okay, well, hey, let us know. Put us up on the New York game that we missed, because it's really starting to seem like y'all don't know what you're talking about. And until you prove Lord Jamar otherwise, that's what we're going to have to believe.
Be respectful. Be mindful. Don't be delusional as to your importance inside the culture. Fat Joe said all that shit about me because he thought he was bigger than me in the culture because he got money and shit like that. And he don't understand who Brand Nubian and Lord Jamar represent to the culture, and that I actually have more influence than you do, sir. He basically was trying to get me canceled. He tried to assassinate my character, and it ended up backfiring on him. And now, amongst foundational Black Americans, he's canceled.
If you believe someone will be willing to step up and have a debate against Lord Jamar, let me know. Leave it in the comments. And if you miss any of the other videos about this topic, it'll probably show up in this little box I'm gonna put here, so y'all check it out, and I'll see y'all in the next video.